Hi, I'm Patrick, and this is the Mach-E vlog. And if you couldn't tell, I now have BlueCruise that I got via over-the-air update for my Mach-E just a few days ago, but I'm going to tell you all about it. So let's go. I just wanted to mention that all of the clips that you see here, as well as my commentary, are from the Fort Collins to Las Vegas trip we did a few weeks ago. It's about 809 miles there, and then a couple of days later we drove back to Denver, so I used it again. So let's jump into the commentary now. Well, about midday on Thursday, I got the notification that I got Power Up 2.5.2, and I knew that was the one that enables BlueCruise on early Mach-E's like mine. So I was very excited to give it a try, and I tried it out a little bit that night when we drove up to Fort Collins, Colorado. And then the next day we drove from Fort Collins, Colorado, about 800 miles, just over 800 miles, to Las Vegas. So that was on Friday. Now it's Sunday, and we are 374 miles into the return trip back to Denver. So I've used it extensively throughout this trip. It's been fantastic, and I can go over some of the quirks or tips or whatever for using BlueCruise and describe how it's worked for me. As you can see right now, going on a slight curve here, descending as well. Speed limit is 80 here in Utah on I-70 where we're at, and I have the cruise control set to 79 or 80. I had it 80. One of the things I did learn is if you set the cruise control for 82 miles per hour or more, it won't let you do hands-free BlueCruise. It will only do like the regular normal intelligent cruise control, which means you just keep your hands on, and that works out fine for me for the most part. I don't necessarily speed a ton, but if you're the type that wants to set your cruise control to 90, just know you're not going to be able to use BlueCruise. The eye tracking is active now and will work whether it's in BlueCruise or intelligent cruise control, and I'm not going to test by looking away for too long, but what I'll do is I'll just put my hand up here and we'll see how long it takes for it to yell at me. There it goes. It says watch the road, and I took my hand away, and now the alert went away. So it is doing the eye tracking whether in intelligent cruise control or BlueCruise. It's also monitoring the steering wheel when you're in intelligent cruise control, doing the hands-on portion just like it was before. And what I want to talk about is like, how does it handle the roads, and how do you know when it's available? So I'll speed up a little bit. I don't want to, actually I'll wait a second. Yeah, we'll do it. This car will probably get a little bit annoyed with me because I'm going to go past them on the right. But I sped up to 83, set the cruise control to 83, and you can see BlueCruise went away, and it told me to watch the road, and I was actually just looking down. But now I'm going to adjust the speed back down to, we'll do like 78 miles an hour. And it's telling me to keep my hands on the steering wheel because BlueCruise is not active. And then when it activates, it goes back to this very blue screen that is very obvious that BlueCruise is on. And then as we go through the mountains and hit some more curves, or sometimes like if it gets a little bit confused because of an exit, it doesn't turn off all of the smart features. It'll just revert back to intelligent cruise control. That, if you notice, that's a theme. If BlueCruise deactivates, it doesn't just deactivate everything and start slowing you down. It just goes back to intelligent cruise control. And we're going to go around this. Just like with intelligent cruise control, to do a lane change, I turn the blinker on, and I'm now in control. The screen changes off. I turn my blinker off, and it immediately, almost immediately, turns BlueCruise back on. And now I can do hands-free again.
Oh my gosh, you're BlueCruising?
BlueCruising in traffic. Seems good.
In morning rush hour traffic in the HOV, no less.
Now, one of the things about BlueCruise is like it actually performs differently based on whether you have it in unbridled or whisper mode, and your following distance, of course. But it brakes harsher in unbridled mode when there's traffic ahead, versus in whisper mode, it's more gradual slowing. So I switched to whisper mode when I'm doing stuff like this, because unbridled with BlueCruise can feel pretty jarring for the passenger.
So far, so good. How is it changing lanes?
Change lanes and it's active again. Oh, we change speed limits.
So I'd like to point out, you've got BlueCruise on, which is pretty amazing, but these are epic curves, man.
Yeah, it's handling it. There was one that was a sharper 60 mile per hour recommended curve, and it just told me to put my hands on the wheel. I have them on there now, but I don't have to. But it also actually slowed down a little bit for that curve as well. And now a truck is pulling in front of us, so we're about to slow down for that, I'm assuming, because I don't think he's doing 80. Maybe he is. But yeah, it's handling some. We got a sharper curve coming up here. Maybe it'll tell you or show you what it does, but it'll just give us the warning here. No? Yeah, keep hands on steering wheel.
Huh.
I'm not steering, I just have my hand on it. You know, it's doing the steering, but it just wants my hand here in case there's an issue on a sharper curve.
Because this is crazy curvy and very tight.
Yeah. And I've been mostly resting my hand on the steering wheel anyways, because it's just so curvy going through here. But here's another curve. It's not asking for my hands, but again, it just feels more comfortable. The steering that it's doing is very smooth. It's not ping-ponging or anything like that. These are LiDAR mapped roads that Ford has added in here, and that means that it should know the exact layout of the curve versus just using the camera to try to figure out how the curve angle should be and the steering angle. This should know exactly how it should end up, which is why, like, when it knows a sharper curve is coming up, it tells me ahead of time that there's a curve coming up, put my hands on the wheel, and if I want to change lanes, I put on a blinker, it disengages, lets me change. I turn my blinker off, and it's back on, and it's back in BlueCruise mode. So, hands-free, good to go.
And it's hard for us to see on camera because of the glare, but you can clearly see that big blue for the BlueCruise.
The whole screen really goes blue, and you can see the bubble around it is very distinct, very, very clear. I know some people have said when they first tested it out, they didn't think that some of the communication was that clear, but you drive it for like 15 minutes and you sort of get an idea of the communication that it's going to be giving you for putting your hands back on, or when BlueCruise is active or deactivates when you turn on your blinker. Very, very clear and very easy to understand. Here's another curve. It even has the thing that we're coming up with a sharper curve. It hasn't asked me to put my hands on. And
wow,
pretty good. Huh. I know it's not a 2-lane mountain road. It's not designed for that, but it handles this really well. And like I said, that was really smooth. Like, it didn't feel like it was adjusting as it was going around. When we only had the intelligent cruise control, sometimes I felt like it would start turning and then go like, oh no, this is sharper than I thought. It would have to adjust quite a bit. But this feels probably smoother than I would even take this, you know. So not bad. We have one coming up where it recommends that we slow down to 70. So it says keep hands on the steering wheel. I just touch the steering wheel and it's good to go. But like I said, it's doing the steering. I'm just putting some torque on it just so that it knows my hand is there. But this one's fairly sharp. But this is just what like autopilot or intelligent cruise control, whatever you want to call it. It's just that I have to have my hands on it versus BlueCruise where you don't. And once I get back to a straighter section of road, it'll turn it back on to the hands-free, and here we go. It's back. And even as the curve was finishing, it knew that the straight section was coming up, so it went ahead and went to BlueCruise hands-free mode. One of the nice things about BlueCruise is it is hands-free. So like now when I'm trying to eat in the car, it gives me a little bit longer to be hands off the steering wheel. With the intelligent cruise control, it's going to bug me every 20 seconds, but now I can sort of eat and enjoy my lunch without having to worry about, you know, grabbing the steering wheel. Still have to be prepared, but it's pretty easy.
This is a crazy road to not be touching the steering wheel for, huh?
It's pretty straight through there, but
yeah, but there's so many wiggly bits and bouncy bumpies.
yeah.
Like, it's not a pretty road, that's for sure.
I don't see how it's seeing the lane.
Me neither.
It's sort of drawn over the lane.
Yeah. Good job, BlueCruise.
So here's just some random clips of me using BlueCruise throughout the trip. It overall just basically went just like this. Me watching the road with my hands in my lap, and BlueCruise was doing its thing. In this segment, I was glancing over to the left and I was a bit curious if BlueCruise would give me any type of warning for not watching the road. But as you can see, I kept glancing back at the road, and that was enough to avoid any type of warning coming from BlueCruise. In this segment, you can see I had my hand sort of lightly touching the steering wheel, and that was just me being cautious and sort of keeping my hands occupied as well. I did wear sunglasses for part of the trip, and BlueCruise was able to do the eye tracking even with my sunglasses on, and it had no issues with them whatsoever. But if you get BlueCruise, this is sort of what you can expect, especially on the long stretches of interstate where there's not a ton of traffic. You can basically just sit there, watch what's going on, and keep your hands off the steering wheel, and BlueCruise will handle the steering and acceleration for you. You can like touch the steering wheel, adjust the radio of course, and you can see the steering wheel wiggling a little bit. I think it was a bit windy in this stretch, so there were a few times where the car was being pushed left or right, so BlueCruise adjusted as necessary to keep the car centered in the lane. Well, that's my overview of BlueCruise. I give it 2 thumbs up so far. I'm really happy with it. And I can do that because it's handling the steering for me. It should be rolling out to more of the early edition Mach-E's. The later editions, for whatever reason, decided to tell me to put my hands on the steering wheel. No big deal. The later edition Mach-E's, or the ones that have come out like 2022, they have it already installed. It is going to be $600 for 3 years of a BlueCruise subscription, or $200 per year. They haven't really worked out some of those details yet. We're getting a year free because there were some delays in rolling it out, so that's great. But I'm curious, if you have BlueCruise, are you excited by it? Has it been working well for you? If you don't have BlueCruise, are you excited to get it? And the big question is, will you pay for it when it becomes a paid subscription of $200 a year or $600 for 3 years? Do you think it's worth it? And something else that we were talking about over the weekend, doing our big long road trip, was the Mach-E is sort of unique in it's one of the only EVs that does hands-free driver assist. So there are a lot of EVs that do like a AutoPilot thing, or where you have to have your hands on, or what the Mach-E used to have. The Hummer EV has a hands-free equivalent called SuperCruise, but this is sort of unique for the Mach-E right now, or not unique, but almost unique. I think it's a very cool feature to have. I've gotten used to it already, and I'm really excited now about doing more road trips. Like I said, we did a basically 15-16 hour road trip on Friday, and now we're doing another big road trip back home. We're almost 6 hours into it today, and I'm tired, mostly because we had a busy day yesterday, but this is really helping my fatigue level. So I think it's a great thing, a great added feature if used correctly, keeping your focus still on the road and keeping ready to take over if necessary. So I think it's pretty great, and I want to know what you guys think. Thank you for watching this whole thing. I sort of rambled a little bit, spliced in some other footage, and we have some great views coming, so hopefully at least you can enjoy some of these great views as I ramble. But thank you. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I will cover lots of other Mach-E stuff, tips, lots more road trips. If you haven't checked out our road trips, if you want to see more of this scenery, we have multiple road trips covering this area. And of course, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we post our videos. We're trying to do at least 1 a week, and if we have more time, we'll do 2 a week. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one when we add some more cool stuff. And remember, whatever you drive, enjoy the ride. If you're wondering where Liv is at, she's filming, and she reminded me I got to finish with that. So, thanks.